You are about to opt in to Monerotopia, a show for the Monero community where all are welcome to join. From noob to maxi, no matter what bags you hold. Just sit back and relax to the sweet sounds of Monero's latest progress. Or if you're feeling inspired, join us on stage. Remember, the only thing that can stop Monero is a false belief that it can be stopped. And if you want to win the revolution faster, we recommend you remove your XMR from all custodial exchanges immediately. Warning, voting accidents are common around here. Don't forget to properly secure your private keys. Monerotopia starts now. Hello, hello.
All right, good morning.
Who's morning? Good morning, good morning. Hello, hello. Happy Saturday, everyone.
I was just daydreaming as I was listening to your intro.
Oh, it's mesmerizing.
So inspiring. Really is.
Aw, that's sweet.
Is our camera a little crooked? Whatever.
No.
People get a different angle.
I think it's fine. No, it's fine on screen.
We got to take down our tray. Today's the day.
Today is the day. Today's the day. The last day, please.
Did we make it to Little Christmas, or when was
what?
Little Christmas, or what do you call it? You
call Dia de los Reyes.
When was that? What was
the
that?
Three
day?
Wise Men.
Yeah.
That was the 6th.
That was the 6th. Huh?
Yeah.
Okay,
So we're done.
way beyond that. There's no excuses.
We're holidayed out. Happy New Year. We're good.
So what do we got? Let's keep small talk fast.
All righty. So continue.
Oh, Monerotopia, guys, get your tickets. We're gonna raise prices really, really soon, as opposed to really soon. All right, let's set a date. We're gonna raise prices in 2 weeks from now. No, 1 week from now. 1 week from now, we'll no longer be selling the early bird tickets, or 20 tickets sold, whichever comes first.
Ooh.
All right, guys, that's it.
Get your tickets today, please.
That's it. We're too kind. We keep just letting it lag. But even when prices are super reasonable when you look at the other conferences that are going on. I think the Bitcoin 2022 is at it's like
I know $600,
or it's like the cheapest ticket. I think is $600 for that.
Yeah,
something like that, or maybe even $700.
Yeah, and then the Bitcoin conference is
ours
like
is
thousands.
Early bird is $59.
Come on, guys.
It's right down the block. Yeah, we're hoping that some people go to both, right? So then that's like a reason why they could it's cheap enough where if they want to go to Bitcoin 2022, then they could slip away, literally walk down the block, come to ours, and it's like cheap enough where it would make sense for them to do that. And then Guns and Bitcoin, that's like $400, I think, is their early
it's like
ticket.
Yeah,
and they're going up. So you get a lot of bang for the buck with Monerotopia, guys. Any other things to announce in Monerotopia this week?
Yeah, we have let's thank our sponsors, obviously.
As always,
we thank you so much. We got Cake Wallet, store, send, receive your Monero safely,
and much more. And I think we have a special announcement.
Yeah, we have a special announcement. Later today, later in the show. So thank you, Cake Wallet.
As always.
Then Coin Cards is the other one. You can buy gift cards with your Monero.
Yeah, they just posted again recently. Monero's once again top 4. Be nice to see Monero jump to number 1 most used coin for coin cards.
Want that to happen?
I think it's creeping up.
So go to coincards.com to get your gift cards. Only I guess in North America, Canada, and the United States.
And he'll be at the conference, I believe.
Yes, he will.
Yep.
I believe so. Yeah. And then last but not least, special announcement, our new sponsor, IVPN.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you so much.
We need the applause button.
Do I have it here?
Oh no!
Oh no!
Definitely not.
All right, hold on. IVPN.
Yeah.
Still getting used to this mixer.
Guys. So that's VPN service, and they accept Monero, so you can purchase their service anonymously. You don't even need to use an email, and you can use Monero to purchase it. And if you go to their website, read up on them. They're really into privacy. At the end of the day, you're kind of trusting your VPN when you move to a VPN. So IPVN, we get all good vibes from them, and we know there's a lot of other people in the Monero community that are talking highly of them and using them. So don't want to say trusted by the Monero community because I want to get in trouble with that. I want to misuse that language. But gaining trust with the Monero community, and we highly recommend them, especially because you can use Monero to buy their services.
Yep.
And we'll be doing that. We're currently not using one here, but we'll give that a go.
Yeah, but I guess for Monerotopia listeners, you can get a 14-day free test account by emailing Monerotopia at IVPN.net.
Oh,
so even with
awesome.
the blank email, even a blank email will do. So you'll get a gift code. So again, email Monerotopia at IVPN.net. And you'll get 14-day free test account. So that's pretty cool.
Oh, so if they say Monerotopia, they're getting
if they email that. Yep.
Oh,
if they email that. So.
And once again, you could pay with Monero, which is very cool.
Yeah, definitely.
Good use case.
Yeah, so check them out. And once again, we're letting you guys know we're going to be down in Miami next weekend. Woohoo! I'm so excited. It's freezing here. We're going to the North American Bitcoin Conference. So for those of you that live in Miami or are going to this conference,
reach out.
Hit us up. DM us or email us, and maybe we can hang, chill, grab a drink, grab some food. The conference is on January 17th to the 19th. We will be there Saturday. So come hang out with us. We're going to be interviewing people at the venue, and we'll be hanging out with Cake Wallet. They're going out there. They've sponsored us too to attend, and we're really grateful and looking forward to helping the table out, handing out vouchers. I think they're giving out $5 vouchers for.
I think it's $10.
$10. Yeah, $10. So we'll be at the
Bitcoin or Monero. I don't know.
Yes, Bitcoin and Monero. Yep.
Okay, cool.
So we're going to be there to help promote Monero at this Bitcoin conference. So should be exciting. I'm excited. I'm definitely excited about this.
But guys, definitely hit us up if you want to meet up. Obviously, you'll find us there. But even if you're not going to the conference and you're in Miami or whatever, hit us up. We always love meeting new Monero people in person. So
yes, we do. And last but not least, Pork Fest. We're going to be there too.
Yes.
That's
not till June.
That's not till June. So I guess it's a little on the early side, but get your tickets, and we've reserved 2 campgrounds there.
Yeah, they're going to sell out super fast. I mean, we're not, promoting, we just we're continuing to let the Monero community know about this because we're going for sure and it's awesome. And we just know they're going to sell out super fast. So if you're considering doing it, do it ASAP and hit us up so we can coordinate. We can all be together. Simple as that.
Simple as that. So just go to porkfest.com and just check it out. Stop sharing. And I guess other than that, we're going to be publishing a new interview with Chad Thackeray. That interview will be posted hopefully by this weekend. So
awesome. Yeah,
really good
you
interview.
Guys are you're gonna like it. We talk some big numbers with Monero's potential future price. Chad basically analyzes blockchain data, on-chain data. So with Bitcoin, obviously that makes a lot of sense because you can see the amount of money that's flowing through the network. With Monero, not as easy to analyze, not as much to analyze. So he might analyze transaction count, but then he does some interesting things with that. And he has some interesting charts and predictions with regards to Monero's price.
Ooh,
some big numbers. It got me all excited. Whether or not any of it's accurate, but no, it was expressed very well. So I think your guys are going to appreciate that interview. It's exciting.
Awesome. Yeah, I'll be publishing it probably today or tomorrow latest, but this weekend. So stay tuned, guys. And I guess with that, that's it with the chit chat. There's nothing else you would like to talk about, really?
I would, but let's move on.
Oh no, Doug always has something to say. So with that, I'm going to move on to the price segment, my guy. The Monerotopia price report segment is sponsored by Local Monero. Avoid using KYC exchanges. Buy and sell Monero directly for fiat, peer-to-peer.
All right.
Hello.
How do you do?
I'm doing great. Wish you all a happy new year.
Happy New Year.
New Year, man.
I'm happy the setup just works out of the box, so it's good for me.
Awesome,
man. Thanks for sticking with us.
I know, we really appreciate it.
My pleasure. And yeah, a lot has been going on for the last couple of weeks. Scared away a lot of people, I guess, in the markets. So let me begin the price report. So this is the 8th price report. In this, I'm going to discuss as usual, like the fundamental scenario of the market sentiment, then the price analysis, and possible scenarios as to a lot of things have happened in the last couple of weeks with respect to price. So let's see which direction we are most probably heading into, and some future on-chain projections. And just to begin with, this is an interesting chart I found, which was the Bitcoin Fear and Greed Index temperature. So where we see the red dots, it means it's kind of getting overheated, and where we see blue dots, it's basically in a bearish territory or oversold territory. So this is what happened during the COVID crash. We had a sudden crash, and then we were, you can see the blue dots. The same scenario repeated in the China ban, pretty much the same kind of fear. And we are heading kind of into, you can still see the blue dots as well as, the some remnants of yellow dots. So we are in the midst region of, let's say, around here, I would say, like if we kind of mirror image that. But we are kind of sticking at the support as we speak. And of course, the next support is the China band support, which is around 30,000. So I'm just going to go into that. And recently, we also, last couple of days, we also heard about Kazakhstan shutting off their electricity, etc., which affected the miners, because Kazakhstan is like number 2 hub for the Bitcoin miners there. So yeah, regarding the fear index, it's pretty crazy because we are at 10, and we hardly ever in the history of the crypto markets, we rarely see a single digit number. So we are actually there as we speak. And this is something like the June, July of this year repeating. And of course, as per human psychology, we cannot stay at this level forever. So we are going to like bounce on and off at these levels, and we're going to go back up. When that happens, only time will tell. And if we look at, this is an interesting chart, the total crypto market cap, because this pretty much mimics what the entire cryptocurrency market has been doing. As we know, 3 trillion was the market top. That was around here. And if you see this, this is a special RSI indicator, which clearly tells which kind of are we in a bullish pattern or bearish pattern. And you can just see the whole history of this. This is a pretty, I had found this to hook into TradingView. You can just see any pattern from the past. It clearly depicts a bullish scenario or a bearish scenario. So whenever we see red, and especially when this part of the red region increases in its width, that is when we end up seeing more of a bearish momentum, and that is exactly pretty much what is happening at this stage. It's kind of increasing in its width. We want to wait until the time where the width starts reducing and then going back up into green. So that is what happens. It's kind of like a cup formation. So we have not seen that yet. So I would like, let's say in the best scenario, we go back and we start seeing green candles. But you should also notice that these are called Heiken-Ashi candles, which clearly depict the trends. You see that we don't have red in between. So we see complete green and then red, green and red right now. So I would expect something like, in the best case scenario, we consolidate and then we start seeing green, or then we start seeing red. So we have to see where we go from here. And especially about the expected support, we are exactly at 1.9 trillion plus minus, which is around $40,000 for Bitcoin, which is again the support for Bitcoin. And this is the next support where, we had the China ban, and this was $1.15 trillion. And I would say this is a major support. This should never be broken, but I don't see this getting broken like this, just a personal point of view. I won't even say that this is getting broken, because this is like a double bottom if we are able to bounce back. But we saw in the last couple of days, we don't really see a buying momentum at this point in stage. I would have expected something like a sharp bounce back from here that will really indicate that we are kind of seeing the bottom, but I don't see that yet. So it could be that it fears away some retail investors and then bounces back. It could also be in between, but we have to see how much volume comes. But I don't really see too much of buying momentum at this stage. Again, this is an interesting part, saying that we are in kind of like an oversold territory. There's the Bollinger Band. We are at the bottom of the Bollinger Band. And you would also see in the past when we had this China FUD, I believe, over here, we were in the bottom of the Bollinger Band, then we rose back up. So there is a high probability that this is like a very, very good support. And if it breaks down, I don't think we have any kind of support in between 40,000 and 30,000. If we break down below with greater volumes, then we might see this in a short period of time.
We're testing it right now, right? The 40,000.
Yeah, we are flirting with this particular support right now. So I think we should be here, and a lot of people are also skeptical at this stage to enter, so they want to like wait and watch. So everybody's waiting and watching. But again, the long-term investors are not selling. That's a bit ironical thing. They're actually accumulating at this stage. So because they have a long-term view and they can't really sell because of taxes. So they want to hold for a few years. As far as the Monero price is concerned, again, I think I mentioned in the previous part that 220 is an important resistance. And if we break that, we're going to flirt between the 180 to 220. And that's exactly what we're doing right now. So yeah, I won't really say it is oversold for Monero, but again, it acts in reflection of the entire market. So we have to focus on where this total crypto market cap is going. I think this is a very good indicator. We have a few weeks of consolidation. And as far as the XMR BTC chart is concerned, this is an interesting point, because a couple of weeks before, I noticed that we are starting to see the green Heiken Ashi candles. And let me focus on that. We see a full candle here, and we see another full candle. So that means, and also the signal line has, breached above. So that is a clear indication that it's gaining strength as against BTC. You would also see whenever we get full green candles, we always go back above BTC. So at this point in time, it might be better holding Monero against Bitcoin, at least in theory. Let's see what's in the overall space. So if we consider BTC as the market driver at the moment, this is an interesting chart. This is Johu's Bitcoin mempool statistics. He's a computer scientist who also found some vulnerabilities in the Trezor hardware wallet before. So he does pretty good work in terms of mathematical modeling. So we see here in January 2018, the mempool size, which is nothing but the amount of transactions that are waiting in the memory pool of Bitcoin blockchain to be confirmed. So when there is a lot of activity in the Bitcoin blockchain, this really shoots up. And that is exactly when we saw the all-time highs for Bitcoin around January 2018. December 2017, January 2018. And this is exactly what happened in the April, May of this year, or the previous year, 2021, where we saw a lot of activity. So a lot of people were moving into Bitcoin, trying to get altcoins, and a lot of activity between exchanges. So this is when the transaction fees also increased, and then it came back down. And right now, if you see, there isn't too much of activity. That means people are just waiting and watching. So this is what this is. A couple of more things. This is like I was checking out some analysis from other trading on TradingView from other analysts. This was an interesting thing that caught my eye. This says that we are around at $40,000. We might see a dead cat bounce that is touching $45,000, losing steam, and then again trying to test for the third time this particular bottom, where it shakes out the retail investors, and then there is an accumulation of power, and then it goes back up. This to me seems like a possible scenario.
Or what's that bottom there? What's that number?
Well, we can't really give a number per se because markets can be irrational longer than we can expect. So it says around 39,000, but I think it's all about the weekly close, what value it actually closes on the week. So it could also be that it goes to 35,000 and then it bounces back. I would like that kind of a scenario because I really would like to see a sharp bounce back, because that really shows that there is a lot of volume, buy volume at that particular level. And this one was a bearish trading analyst who says that there is a good volume around 48,000 if we go back up there. But if we are not able to sustain this 40,000 for long enough, we are basically on a descending avenue, going down to 30,000, testing that, and he calls that as the first bottom. But again, we should not really believe too much because we don't have too much of indication for a bearish phase as yet. Although people have been predicting that the global stock market is going to crash anytime in 2022, including Elon Musk, and not later than 2023. Yes, that could be the case, but I think we are just starting out to 2022, so we should not directly head into the bearish case without too much of data points. And well, the last thing was, this is something related to Monero, not exactly related to price. I was checking out the total transaction growth of Monero over every 2-year period. So I saw that this data is not really made up. So I had downloaded the Monero's blockchain, all the data from that till today. And if you see that every 2 years, the number of transactions increases by 3 times. So this is where we are right now, from 6 billion transactions in a year. And in another 2 years' time, that is by end of 2023, we would be seeing something like, if this is history is an indication, then we would see 3 times. And this graph is non-linear, it's not exponential, although it may look so. So that means we can capture 20% of Bitcoin's transactions in the coming, let's say, 1.5 to 2 years.
Wow.
Or less.
That's significant.
And also, this one was interesting. The total Monero total transactions. One second, let me go for this one. This is the blockchain size, as how the blockchain size is increasing over time. And it was kind of going okay, but I think this also has a direct correlation with the number of transactions. So as the number of transactions in the Monero blockchain starts increasing over time, the size of the blockchain also increases in gigabytes. And this is like a pretty good indication, I believe. We were kind of flat before. On the y-axis is the blockchain size in gigabytes, that people run full nodes, so they need to download the full blockchain. This is 1 terabyte, and this is total transactions. So let's say hypothetically, a lot of people come into the Monero ecosystem, and the number of transactions just goes exponentially crazy. What will happen is suddenly it will, the blockchain size will of course increase, and the only worry, not really a worry, it's a small worry at the moment, but which can, if I extrapolate this worry for the future, seeing the Monero's growth in terms of transactions, this can kind of go non-linear and exponential. So I think the devs and everybody are probably doing something about it, but this was just something to share for the viewers. Yes, any questions perhaps? And this is
I think it was great. I love what you're doing, man. All good stuff. So what do you think of these calls to potentially dipping down to the 20K area for Bitcoin? You think that's in the cards at all, or that's way too extreme?
I think this kind of speaks for itself. Like people start accumulating when there is a lot of fear in the markets. I think the main fear is about the stock market crash, the global financial meltdown, so to speak. I think if that comes, anything is possible. We can go to 20,000, certainly for sure. But the question is that happening as we speak right now? The answer is yes, it will happen, but no at the moment, no as of today. So yes, we could go to 20,000. Why not? I think that will be like an oversold territory. Great time to accumulate. But I don't see that happening like tomorrow morning.
All right. A Fungible, thank you so much, man.
Oh, yes, my pleasure. Thank you.
We greatly appreciate your efforts. We know this takes a lot of work, and I think it's great for the show. People get
it's also fun to present. So thank you so much.
Awesome,
Thank
man.
you so much again.
Thank you.
Best.
Yeah, I'll tune in offline. Bye-bye.
You have like a Monero tip address we could post or something where people can send you some tips.
Oh, I don't have it right now. Probably I will.
Okay, well,
send it to me and
I'll send it to you.
Yeah, and obviously we'll continue to send our tips as well.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right. All righty.
It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
That's
awesome. That's a lot of work. All righty. So let's move on to our guest segment.
Yeah, let's keep it going.
The Monerotopia guest segment is sponsored by Cake Wallet. Store, send, receive, and exchange your Monero and Bitcoin safely on iOS and Android too. Cake Wallet is open source, and you always control your own keys. All righty. We have our guest, Tim Sutinen.
How do we pronounce the name?
Tim? I'm sorry.
Tim, can you hear us?
Tim, can you hear us? Hello? Hello? Is he looking?
I don't know. He's muted.
Oh, I think he's well. I'll unmute him here. Hello?
I'm not hearing you now, so
you don't hear us?
We hear
you.
We hear you. Uh-oh.
Give it a shot. When you
I don't even know if he can. He's saying he can't hear us.
He can't hear us. You want to take a minute with that? We could. How do we pronounce the name?
I'm sorry. Oh, we're delayed now. I'll just
mute him. Maybe we could
log off. Maybe he can log off.
Yeah.
And
we could bring Vic up. Doesn't Vic want to announce something?
Yeah. Vic. Well, I see Justin's on here.
Vic or Justin? I assume.
I think. Hold on. Let me put the link because I think Vic is in the chat. Vic. Maybe Justin. Anyone?
Let's do that.
What about now? Are you hearing me now?
Yeah, we got you now.
Oh, yeah, we got you now. Okay.
But I'm not hearing you.
Oh, no. Maybe take off. Maybe,
let's bring Justin up while he tries to figure it out a little bit.
Okay.
I don't know why he's not hearing us.
He's not hearing us.
Yeah.
All right. Hello, Justin. How's it going?
Is Justin there?
No one's on. Everyone's on standby. Well, Vic is walking his dog.
I'm here.
Okay.
All right. Yeah.
So we're having some technical difficulties with our guests. So I know Cake wanted to make an announcement.
Yeah, I definitely want to wait for Vic for that one.
Okay. Yeah, he was walking his. I guess let's do the news segment.
What about now?
Can you hear us, Tim? No, he cannot hear us. He cannot hear us.
Hello.
Hello? Can you hear us?
We hear you, Tim. You can't hear us. All right, we'll do the news.
Yeah, we'll do the news. Yeah.
I like we're a real show here. We'll do it live.
We'll do it live. All right. Let's move on to the Monerotopia weekly news segment is sponsored by IVPN. Use a VPN to help prevent your online activity from becoming a permanent record. IVPN encrypts your data and DNS requests so your ISP or mobile network provider cannot monitor or log your online activity. Purchase an IVPN service today anonymously with Monero.
Ooh, that makes me want to purchase it. Okay,
calm down.
All right, let's go through the news fast. What's the first thing?
Hold on. I got to mute him again. He keeps
okay.
Okay, no, there we go.
So it looks like, if you want to scroll down a little bit, Venmo, PayPal, and Cash App will now have to report transactions totaling more than $600 to the IRS. Yeah, guys, we all saw this coming, and now it's really happening. All the more reason to perhaps want to use things like Monero. It seems like we're heading to a place where taxes will automatically be assessed and taken. Country runs on taxes. We're not saying don't pay your taxes, but do we want to live in a world where we're no longer reporting to the IRS, but the IRS is just, kind of automatically taking the taxes from us? So we're not there yet, but that seems to be the direction we're trending in. And I personally don't think Bitcoin really helps us, move away from that because of its transparency. And once again, making Monero more vital than ever is the fact that we continue to move in this direction. So what else we got? Next, Kosovo bans cryptocurrency mining in the face of European. So another example of a nation state banning cryptocurrency mining. And obviously, that's going to have a strong effect on Bitcoin, but perhaps not so much on something like Monero, where it'd be harder to identify if mining is taking place, since mining happens with CPUs in Monero, and it's harder to identify large, mining facilities. So just another example of why Monero is built to be resistant to the whims of nation states. What's the next one? We have Congress is preparing an oversight hearing on Bitcoin mining's environmental impact. So yeah, just another example here. So in our own country here in the U.S., we have legislators looking at the potential environmental impacts of proof of work mining, and once again, it's this proves that nation states are going to try to impose their will on things like Bitcoin, and that if your crypto isn't built to withstand it, it's going to be affected by it. And what we've seen with Bitcoin is it's not built to withstand it. There's been effects on the Bitcoin mining network because of the actions of nation states. So just yet another example. Whether or not this actually comes to anything here in the U.S., I mean, they're just calling for an oversight hearing committee. What that actually results in, who knows? But the fact that they're talking about it, and the fact that we could eventually see a time where even places like the United States are putting regulations against proof of work mining, you're going to want to have a cryptocurrency, or we're going to want a cryptocurrency to exist where a nation state wouldn't be able to create a regulation that would essentially make it impossible to then mine your crypto. There is talk of potentially eliminating the 10-block lockup period in Monero. This is huge that it's being discussed. It's probably, in terms of usability, the biggest issue Monero has right now. We've personally faced it using Monero when we're out there selling our coffee, or we sold coffee at events and whatnot. There's been instances where people have paid in cash. We sent them their change back in Monero because they wanted to send the tips to the farmers, so they needed some Monero. So they paid like $10 cash for a $4 coffee. We sent them $6 in Monero, but then they weren't able to send their tips because they had to wait, for that 10-block lock period, which is 20 minutes. So we're trying to build digital cash here, and we need to get to a point where people can use it as fluidly as cash itself. And this is probably the biggest holdup. And we're seeing discussion of ways of how we could potentially overcome that. Maybe later in the show, when we talk to Justin and I see ArticMine, we could talk about this a little bit more. I don't completely understand what was proposed here. My limited understanding is that there are some potential drawbacks with privacy. If people were going to, Sydney, if you want to scroll down, actually, there was a comment from Trevador, I believe.
Right here.
Yeah, what did he say? He said, since all Monero transactions must have at least 2 outputs, it would make sense. No, wait, is this? No, that's not the one. I think the biggest risk is breaking the privacy by default property of Monero. With this change, it is theoretically possible to have a very active wallet with an entirely traceable history. Worse yet, exchanges may start requiring deposits to be zero decoy transactions, etc. It's a slippery slope that ends up down there with Zcash. So there's some concern there that this solution that's being proposed may lead to risking the privacy but by default property of Monero. And so that's certainly something we don't want to sacrifice. So it's nice to see that solutions are being discussed, but it doesn't seem like we're there yet in coming up with an ideal one. What's the next story? Somebody had posted, and it got a lot of upvotes for good reason. Zoomed out growth of average daily Monero transactions by quarter. A Fungible touched on this. We're always touching upon this. This is the number go up chart that we should be most excited about. People actually are using Monero, and the growth is organic, and we're seeing it over the course of time. So really, really exciting stuff. And that's it for the news.
That's it for the news.
Let's try Tim again.
I think Tim, hold on. Tim, can you hear us?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yes. All right.
Hey, it worked.
It worked.
Finally.
No worries, Tim. Thanks for joining us. We wanted to have you on. You had reached out to us with regards to potentially being a sponsor because you wanted to promote some of your services. And so we thought, we don't know much about you. We thought what the services you're offering are pretty cool, but we thought a good way to kind of vet you is just have you come on, talk about it, see what kind of response we get from the community. So thanks for joining us, man. I know you're a Monero advocate, which is why you reached out to us. And it seems like you're a big privacy advocate with the services you're offering. So I guess you want to quickly just introduce yourself and tell us what your services are all about.
Yeah, I'll first start with that 10 block. The slowdown was just mentioned in that news thing. Mm-hmm. I was at an event giving a talk about Monero, and then I was offered to sell Monero to anyone who wanted to buy it, a few bucks here and there, and it was painful having to wait after a few transactions, having to wait. So that would be really nice.
Yeah, we need a solution there, 100%. Whether it's through the wallets or through the protocol itself, we're gonna have to come up with some workaround.
Exactly. Yeah, I've been involved in the freedom community for a long time, and then of course starting with the Ron Paul campaign. Probably some of us got in our starts there back in the 2008, 2012 era, and then it evolved into Monero at some point, and I did some mining of that. Currently, I'm not mining Monero, but I think Monero is the best. It's going to be the best currency known to man, and it will be, like I've said to many people, it will be when the $100 bills and the $50 bills are either inflated away or that they are outright banned, like they did the large denomination bills in India and some other places, then the only way to do a private payment is with Monero or some other privacy currencies, but Monero in particular, since it's the biggest, the best known, and it's probably one of the least inflationary currencies anyway.
Definitely agree with you. How'd you come across Monero?
Well, when you are a freedom privacy type of guy, it's kind of hard not to come across. I don't even remember, but it was somewhere 2016, 17 timeframe.
And did you start off as a Bitcoiner and find your way there, or was it more through like you said, through the privacy scene that you discovered Monero?
It was through I held Monero before I held Bitcoin.
Oh, so. Nice. Cheers to that.
So yeah, anyways, this the business of ours, we sell privacy phones and these session usernames at the moment. So privacy phones are phones that are de-Googled. You take an Android phone, wipe away the operating system, load it with Graphene OS, and load the apps on it. And then we provide the support for it, because that tends to be there is, especially if you're coming from an iPhone background and even from a standard Android background, the privacy phones tend to be slightly different. You have to load apps in a different way. You have multiple app stores to load from. Things don't work exactly the same, and a lot of the modern conveniences that we're used to, like Google Maps and whatnot, you just can't run it because there are no Google software on the phone. So we help with finding alternatives, helping people with those everything around the privacy phone scene. And then this session, I came across this in September, August timeframe. Session is a messaging system that's anonymous. So when you sign up, it doesn't ask for any identifying information. It just gives you a 66 identifier with the 66 characters. It's onion routed, so nobody will know your IP address. So when you send a message to someone else, the end user will not know what the IP address was that you sent it from, because it's routed through an encrypted tunnel through 3 different servers. It's also end-to-end encrypted, so you can send, just like Signal or other messengers, where from end to end it's encrypted, so no one else can read it. And it's distributed. It runs on top of the Oxen cryptocurrency network. And the names, like these names that we're now giving away, 5 of those names, is the 66 character identifier is really long for people to remember. So when you you can buy a name in the blockchain and it gets linked to your session ID. So like my name is PrivacyProShop. So instead of trying to remember the 66 characters, you can just alias it to that. And so there's this Oxen cryptocurrency that's a fork of Monero. And they've modified it quite a bit. It's no longer a proof of work like Monero is. It's a proof of stake coin. But it's very suited for what they're doing with the session messenger system. So those people who are concerned about privacy, they probably should really consider using session.
Very cool. And you're selling the session names for...
That's correct. Yeah, because in order for you to buy a name, the alias to your session ID, the official way to do it is to purchase Oxen cryptocurrency and then use your wallet, which is a kind of a Monero wallet that has been modified to work with Oxen. It has the capability of doing the linking right in the wallet. However, purchasing the cryptocurrency is not exactly for the faint of heart. Because you first have to buy, such as Monero, send it to KuCoin exchange, trade it for either USDT or Bitcoin, and then buy with that Bitcoin or USDT, buy the Oxen, and then move it to your wallet. I mean, that's a process that it's so many steps that it's almost impossible for the average human to do that who hasn't dealt with these exchanges before. Okay. So now with the PrivacyProShop, you can just go there, use a credit card to buy it if you want, or any of the many other cryptos, Monero being the first choice. So Monero, Bitcoin, and so forth.
That's nice. I like that. And so there's no privacy concerns with people buying it through you that people would have, or I guess once they have it, they can...
It depends on how you buy it. If you buy it with credit card, depending on how you fill the forms, we may know who you were. However, the credit card company, which in this case is Square, will not reveal to us who the person was. So if you didn't give us the information, probably even credit card, we don't know who you are. But Square will know. If you pay with Monero or Bitcoin or any other cryptos, we ask for nothing except what the state that you're in and what's your zip code, so that we can properly pay sales tax on that. That's the only information we ask for. And especially if you use Monero and use a VPN, doggone it, there's no way for us to link you to anything.
Right. And then once people have the name from you, they can move it to another wallet, you were saying? So
no, it goes to your own wallet. What you do is that you download the wallet software first, and then when you buy it, you link it to the wallet that you want it to go to, and that's it. You put the wallet ID, you put your wallet address, public key, and then the session address and the name that you want. Register, and boom, it's done. We do the work in the background. We take that wallet address, and we assign the name to your wallet, so it goes straight to your wallet. And if you ever need to change it, you can do it, any changes that you want. If you want to sell it to someone else, or you want to link it to a different session ID, you can do that in your own wallet.
Awesome. So yeah, you said you were down to give away 5 of these. That's really nice of you.
Maybe the first 5 people to email me gets it.
Or I would say maybe they tweet it out. So first 5 people on Twitter to tweet to Monerotopia and say, give me my free session name. The first 5 we get, we'll send it to you guys.
Ooh, so go guys, go.
Put it in the notes too. Go for it, guys. Thank you so much, man. This is great. So anything else you want to say about the privacy phones so people can purchase them from you?
Yes.
So they're already formatted.
Well, you can do it in a couple of ways. You can format. If you are truly paranoid, we can sell you the phone factory sealed, and ship it to you. And then once you get it, you can either set it up yourself, or that we can hop in your computer and install the software, load up all the apps, and train you on it. So that way you don't have to trust. You can watch every move that we make, and you don't have to trust us. However, most people end up buying it with preloaded. But those who are truly concerned about privacy, I don't blame them. I mean, why trust anyone if you don't have to?
Right.
Isn't that what cryptocurrencies and Monero is all about?
Yeah, exactly. So I think it's cool. I like the idea that you simplified it so people can, that maybe aren't super techie can, get one of these de-Googled phones. I think people like Sunita and I fall into that.
Yeah.
So anybody that has any questions for Tim, jump up on stage. You could ask him about it, and we could talk about it a little bit, especially with regards to the privacy phones. But yeah, I think that's it. We could jump into the on stage portion. Tim, you want to bring anything else up?
Nope, I'm good. Thank you.
All right, thanks for coming.
Very cool. Thanks for coming on. Just hang out, stay on stage, and we'll bring people up. Yeah, guys, if you have questions for Tim, especially with regards to the privacy phones, please jump on up and ask him a question, or put it in the send a question in the comments.
It's the Viewers on Stage segment. It's that time where we invite you, the viewers, up on stage to comment on anything you've heard so far today, ask the guest a question, or maybe talk about one of the news topics. Come on down. Never get sick of that.
Wow, Vic, where are you?
Hello. Vic is hanging.
Is that a real
muted.
Background, or is that just like your window?
No, it's a fake one. show my Monero t-shirt. Like Superman, just pull it out.
Super Vic.
How you guys doing?
Good. How are
man.
you?
How are you?
Good. Busy few days. Big announcement today. If I could just jump into my stuff.
Yeah, sure. That's all you're.
We just launched the Monero only app on iOS and Android.
All right. Yeah. Wow. So I didn't.
I'm on the David Letterman show.
I didn't think you pulled it off that fast, man. I know you said end of January, but you made moves.
You made moves.
Yeah. So it's called Monero.com. So very simple, catchy name. The website still looks like the Cake Wallet site, but it's going to be completely different. It's going to be very Monero general information oriented.
Okay.
Not in any way compete with getmonero.org. Of course, that's the official site, but it'll be to complement the site, less techy, more information, block explorers, things like that. The exchange chair just broke. We gotta get this chair fixed. We're pretty excited. So it's already out on the App Store, Apple App Store.
Oh,
and it's waiting on Google, which is really weird because they usually approve us within like an hour. But still waiting on Google Play. But in the meantime, if you have an Android, you can download the APK directly from our website, which will link you to our GitHub. And same with Cake Wallet. If you don't want to use Google Play, you can download the direct APK. So we're pretty excited.
And it's live in the iOS store now. It's live in the App
It's
Store.
live. Yep.
Oh, amazing.
It's live.
Yep. It functions the same way as the Cake Wallet app does. We took out the buy Bitcoin, buy Litecoin feature, obviously, because that doesn't make sense to do that. We left the exchange in there because even in Cake Wallet, when it was purely a Monero only app, the exchange was quite popular. So we left that in there because Monero maxis will definitely still probably want to convert their surveillance coins to Monero. So we wanted to leave that feature in there. A new feature we added, you can change the name of your wallet. Not change, you can create a name for your wallet when you create a wallet. And when you restore a wallet, you can change the name.
Nice.
Yes.
I'm excited about that.
Sunita's
Yeah,
been
I like
complaining
that.
about that, the lack of the ability to edit.
Because you
the name.
had it originally.
Yeah.
I remember.
Yeah, we had originally, and then
then
when
it
we
kinda
switched
went
over to
away.
Flutter.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So I'm excited it's back.
So
Hold
I mean,
on.
you'll just have to restore the wallet to be able to do that. What would you say?
And I said, "Yay, I'm excited."
Yeah. So Doug, this one's for you.
All right.
Monero Maxi.
I'll be the only user. It's just me and Sunita. No,
Yeah, so far we have one download just now.
Yay! Someone's asking here.
I think
is
it's
it
going
on
to be
F-Droid?
quite popular, Vic, among the Monero enthusiasts.
I think so.
Yeah,
I think so. Yeah, it's going to be on F-Droid at some point. We're working on that.
Okay, cool.
I mean, you know, since we have the direct APK download, you can immediately get it there. You don't have to wait for the F-Droid.
Beautiful.
Gorgeous.
Excited to use it. Excited to promote it. I love the fact that we could just tell people to go to Monero.com. Yeah, that's going to be awesome. And so, like you said, so the site will be more than just, hey, here's the app. It's also going to explain Monero, right? So it'll be kind of a resource.
Right. I mean, you'll only see the app. There'll be a download section, you know, where we'll list not only Cake Wallet and Monero.com wallet, but other Monero wallets as well.
Oh, wow.
So the Monero.com site is not going to be purely for us. It's going to be more, like I said, just general information, education, downloads, videos, guides, calendar, more of a community type site.
Awesome.
And I know that site wasn't too cheap, right? It was somebody was holding out with that, right?
Yeah.
Monero.com.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, obviously, I told you a long time ago when I bought it, but wanted to keep it under wraps until we had this Monero only wallet. And that was actually the plan when I bought Monero.com. That was the plan, to have a more Monero pure wallet, which we finally did. We did it faster than we anticipated because obviously the community spoke out, and we wanted to listen. But yeah, I'm glad we did it. Yep.
Awesome.
Yay.
Very exciting. Thank you, Vic. Thank you, Cake Wallet. We're excited to get your.
We'll have to make a new animated logo for you for your intro.
Oh yeah. We had the original one. That was the original logo.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So what is the logo for the new? It's
the old logo.
Oh, amazing.
Yay.
Nice.
It's the original Cake Wallet logo.
My shirts are back in style.
Yeah. We'll have to print more.
You now have the hottest T-shirt, not the old one.
Got plenty of them too. All right, that's amazing. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. I'm beside myself.
Yeah, I mean, you were saying we did it so fast. I mean, that's the thing. The Cake Wallet team doesn't know the word no. We bring up something to the team, they're like, we'll find a way to do it. Don't worry. Yeah.
Should have done it yesterday.
Yeah. Very impressed that you guys were able to spin it up that fast. Is there any like roadmap that you can talk about with regards to what we may see next for the Monero only app?
The roadmap hasn't changed. Our goal, as always, from day one, which we've been working on for many years, and thanks to Justin coming on board, he's kind of accelerated that process, is to have a direct fiat on-ramp to Monero. So that's our primary goal. That's our number one thing on our roadmap, and we continue working on that. Then in addition to that, we have things, of course, like ThorChain, which I think will be a great addition for Monero. And also that's something we've been driving ourselves, trying to work with the ThorChain people. And I mean, I don't know if the Monero community would like this or not, but even the Haven developers are helping us, are working on trying to get Monero on ThorChain. So that's been a big help.
And we would see that integrated into this version of the Cake Wallet app too, the Monero only, as an additional option for exchanging between.
Definitely, currencies. Yeah.
Awesome.
I mean, if and when ThorChain's up and running, we should see that in both apps. When we have the fiat on-ramp for Monero, we'll definitely see that in both apps. So it's up to the user which app they want to use.
Very cool. Awesome.
Yeah.
Anybody that wants to jump up on stage and ask Vic and Justin questions, or Tim about the de-Googled phones, now is the time. All right, guys. And we got
ArticMine here.
We got Arctic. Arctic, what's going on?
Hello there.
How are you?
How are you?
Well, I'm doing really good. Spent a lot of my last week actually dealing with snow, but that's another matter.
Okay.
Lots of exciting things, though. I was listening to the talk about the number of transactions going by a factor of 3 every year in Monero, which is a trend that I've been noticing. And that's, of course, one of the things that's coming in the hard fork, that we'll have better ability to accommodate those fluctuations that we had before. So that's one of the things that's coming up, one of the interesting things that is coming up right now. I also wanted to comment on this 10 block thing.
Yes.
That's a tough one because you're really trading privacy on one side and trying versus the ability to move these transactions really fast. I mean, like I said, that's a real tough one. Of course, the classic mitigation is to split up the outputs. I mean, in the wallet. So that you have other outputs you can use in that time frame of the 20 minutes. That's been the class.
Right. You see that's a better solution given the trade-offs.
Like I said, it's a tough one. I think it's going to end up probably being a combination of both. Like I can see the concerns. I mean, the difficulty you get with these things is small transactions are actually some of the more valuable from a surveillance perspective, because there's so many of them. So that's, I think, some of the concerns. And on the other side of the equation, I mean, you do have the issue of, okay, can I receive Monero and immediately spend it before that 20-minute, that 10 block time cycle? And then you get some of the compromises where they have lower mixings, effectively allowing, which is, I think, what people are looking at. Like I said, I have to really give this a lot of thought. My trade-off is, I think we're trading off things here, and it's going to be some compromise between splitting outputs and maybe relaxing the ring signature there on those fast turnarounds. But I think it's an interesting topic of discussion on its own right.
Yet, Justin, you want to chime in on that? Where do you think the community currently stands with what's been proposed
for the 10 block lock?
Yeah,
there are just unquestionably privacy downsides to it, which can be mitigated, but we have to be very careful. And in the current form, what was currently written basically says if you want to send a transaction within 10 or 20 blocks or whatever it is, you would effectively send a transaction without a ring, so to speak. So there are clearly privacy downsides to that. And the network tries to mitigate those in a sensible way in the write-up. And there's some other thrown around ideas on how to do that, but I think at least as it's currently written, with the ideas we currently have, we need to not kid ourselves and think that we get all the same privacy for no downsides. This is a trade-off, and it might be a worthwhile trade-off because this user experience is very important to some people, but ultimately it is a trade-off. And we need to be very, very cautious as we approach allowing people to effectively not use, again, so to speak, not use ring signatures in their transactions.
Mm-hmm. Do you think what Tevador was saying in his comment, that it moves us away from privacy by default, is a fair argument?
I mean, privacy is broad. I mean, Monero transactions still will always hide the amount. They would still always hide the addresses associated, which even the weak case we're talking about here is still significantly stronger than the base Bitcoin case, for example. So it's kind of hard to say, but it definitely moves us in the direction of allowing people to record transactions on chain that have weaker privacy protections than they currently have.
It's effectively a privacy opt-out on a limited basis, on a very limited basis, for these fast turnaround transactions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we'll see what comes of this. I think there are definitely some reasonable concerns, but the Monero Research Lab is also, they understand these and they're saying, okay, well, what's the actual best trade-off here? And I think it'll be sorted out. It might be that we don't want this feature. Maybe it is that this is a very critical user experience feature to have for things like Havino. It's hard to trade with Havino if you have to wait all the time. So maybe that's built into the trade-off. I don't know.
Yeah. I hate to sound, this is totally off the cuff, but maybe a sidechain.
What would that solution look like? What are you saying? Suggesting?
I'm just saying that we may have to look at something along those lines if there's a real interest on that.
How can you explain what that?
Well, you would transfer money into the less private chain and then do the fast transactions. And then move back out again. And the thing with something like that is that it breaks the transaction graph. Mm-hmm. So I'm just thinking conceptually here. I'm thinking out loud, but I'm thinking that might be an option. Because, I can see the application, and I can see it if you could maybe some sort of side decoupling. That may be necessary. I don't know. But I'm just thinking out loud here. But it's something that's going to require some thought. This is kind of what I'm saying. It's definitely a need for it. I would like the concept of saying, okay, I've got a private transaction, I put it into a less private environment to do something, and then move it back into the private environment.
How about a Lightning network for Monero?
Well, this is the other way to do it. The other way to do it is to set payment channels. Mm-hmm. Now, payment channels, if you're paying the same person, works very well. Lightning Network, this is one of the big things. A lot of people are huge critics of Lightning Network, and rightly so. And the reason they're critics of Lightning Network is because they're going to do this routing network along it. If you're making just payments back and forth to one person or to one organization, then yes, Lightning Network and payment channels is actually very effective idea to have in there. And it would kind of do do that sort of add-on thing. That's another idea where you go into this other network to do these fast small transactions and then you move back out of it. It's a tough one. It's a real tough one because of the. You're saying, okay, if you do a transaction within n number of blocks of one of the inputs, then you can relax privacy, basically. That's effectively what it's doing. Mm-hmm. And since we don't know the amounts, you can't really cap amounts. You can't do anything like that either. So it opens the door, I think, to all sorts of things.
Yeah. How about
sorry?
How about trying to solve it with the wallets themselves? Hasn't that been discussed in past as a solution?
The solution there is that you you split up the outputs in the wallet so you can actually use them. That's a very simple solution because you don't have to do anything with consensus. I mean, all you do is you take the output in the wallet and you design the wallet to split up outputs. And so if you're going to spend a lot, if you're going to be at a convention or something, you would split up your outputs in this fashion. And fees are low enough that you can do this. And then you basically have all these to change. It's like making change concept. You go in and have a lot of spare change before you're going to make a bunch of small transactions, so they get change all the time. Well, it's the same sort of idea. So you split the transactions up, and then you could do the fast transaction activity. So you can do it at the wallet level. Now, of course, that's fine because you don't really impact privacy, although I could argue that if you split transactions and recombine them, you might have some issues. But to me, that sounds a simple way around solving the problem, but it doesn't really entirely solve the situation of receiving money and then spending it again. It actually deals with a situation of you spending a lot of small outputs. So if you have somebody, for example, goes to a convention and they want to sell small amounts of Monero to 20 people, well, they can prepare that ahead of time. We can just split the whole thing up into 20 separate transactions so that they're ready for that event. And then they can do the rapid fire sales. I mean, if that's the concept, for example, that's a use case that has been discussed. But the case where you get change back, you buy a small amount of Monero for cash, and then you turn around and use it right away to pay somebody else in half around the world, which is essentially wouldn't really be effective with Lightning anyway. A Lightning type payment channel. That I think is the case where it may be just best to just wait the 20 minutes. I don't know what there is really a better solution there. The idea that you can flip the output right away. And I guess you can put limits. I mean, say, for example, you can't combine outputs without mixing and so on. So you can take this output and respend it. And then just within that output or something like that. That might be a compromise in the sense that you receive an output and you can immediately spend that output. So it is traceable to the original output, but that's without adding any new inputs.
Justin, Vic, you have any comments there with regards to the potential wallet?
Yeah, from the wallet level, I think we've taken some steps to kind of alleviate this problem. One is we added batching of your multiple send transactions. So you can send multiple. But just the other day, Justin and I were talking about this. The interesting thing with that batch send feature is you can use it to make change for yourself. So just create multiple batch send transactions to yourself. And it's very easy to do in Cake Wallet or now Monero.com wallet. You just, on that address field, you just press on the address book icon, and you'll get your own address. So you don't have to like cut and paste and do this. You can do it very quickly, probably in a matter of 10, 15 seconds. You can create 10, 15 different transactions to yourself and make change right away. I know a lot of people, we see that request on Twitter and Reddit a lot, that why can't there be a change feature built in? I don't think that's something that should happen automatically. I think the way we don't want to go a step further than this. Let the user create how many splits they want, and it's very easy to do. Maybe it's one extra step than to do it automatically.
It's a great idea. I mean, this is exactly what I'm saying, because basically, but it should be user initiated, because otherwise what you'll do is you'll create massive amounts of dust in the blockchain. So you don't want to do it that way. But it makes sense. I think it's a great feature, absolutely a phenomenal feature, especially on a mobile wallet, which is kind of where you're going to want to do something like that.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, that is to me that's a significant mitigation of the problem without the privacy downsides. To do it at the wallet level at this level, and then I mean that, and then you get into this idea. I think now that I think about it, I think if you were to take an output and respend it without mixing up, using just that one input, so I will probably feel more comfortable with it from a privacy perspective. But the minute you correlate with existing outputs, on the blockchain, I think that becomes a lot more problematic because it opens the door to what is to what's a strain of chain in blockchain surveillance, and that is combining outputs. That's one of the strength points. So you want to take that out of the equation. So if you just take an output and say you want to respend it again without a confirmation within a certain number of confirmations of, well, then, but not combine it with something else.
Mm-hmm. Tim, you want anything you want to throw in there as you listen to all this?
I had not known about the. Maybe you could explain what that change means. I'm not exactly certain. I use Cake Wallet, but I'm not sure what that means. Maybe you could explain that, Vic or Justin. Oh, and then Justin, another question. I saw you on one of the session forums. You were saying that you might ask. You were asking about Oxen, adding Oxen to Cake Wallet. Maybe you can comment on that. You don't have to, but.
So Monero has a consensus requirement that you need to wait 10 blocks before you can spend it again. This is, the way Cake allows users to be more flexible doesn't solve this problem entirely. If you receive fresh Monero to your wallet for the first time, there's nothing you can do before you can make a transaction, right? But once you can make a transaction within Cake, you can send a transaction to 15 different recipients. And you can actually make it such that one or all of those recipients are yourself. And that's in addition to the change output back to yourself in the first place. So that's pretty easy to do in Cake. You can just click Add Recipient at the bottom. And on Oxen, I'll leave it for Vic. It's something that we're probably open to, but we haven't put any work into.
Yeah, we're always considering forks of Monero. Coins, but again, just everything we have on our plate right now, it's not something we would look at for months and months from now. That's all.
I mean, the idea is that if you use a fresh input each time, then of course you're not limited by the 10 block limit. So the reason why you want to create the change, and I think let me explain, is that let's say I've got one output and I want to send it to 20 people in a conference. Well, what I would do is I would create 20 change outputs, and then I can spend each output or from each output to all those 20 people, and I don't have to wait for the confirmation of the other outputs because they're not tied up in the blockchain. And by the time I have gone through the cycle of the 20 people, then I'm back again. I can start reusing the older outputs because now they come the 10 confirmations. So that's the idea of splitting it up at the wallet level. So if you want to spend all these outputs all at once, well, let's say it's going to take you probably 20 minutes to spend the 20 outputs. So in that scenario, you might say, okay, well, I take my one output, I split it into 20 ahead of time. And then when I go into my talk or my presentation, I want to do this. Then I can spend the 20, and by the time I've already sold Monero to say 20 people, and I want to send it to another 20, then by then the first of the old ones has already got the 10 confirmations, and so now you can go back and repeat the process again. So that's the concept of breaking it up into change like that. And in a scenario where you're going to buy a whole bunch of different things at a conference or something, or you're going to do a lot of small purchases in sequence, having all these small change outputs makes sense. The trade-off, and I should say the trade-off is you don't want to make it too much because then you end up with a lot of dust, and so you end up with having to recombine those outputs and then pay slightly higher fees to do that.
So seems like we're not there yet, but it's nice to see that it's really becoming front and center in terms of something that we need to solve.
But definitely at the wallet level, the initiative from Cake is very solid, in my opinion, because it does address a lot of that fundamental problem. It mitigates it to the degree that it may be a lot more less of a problem without the big privacy downside.
Yeah, I mean that's a feature we were really excited about. I mean, in a long time. Of all the little things we added, I think that's probably one of the most useful features. So I'm glad to hear that you like it, ArticMine.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, because it mitigates the problem to the point where it may not be, you don't need such a drastic solution of, messing around with consensus. If you do it at the wallet level and you can mitigate the problem at the wallet level, you don't touch consensus. So that's way better way to do it.
What do you think of coin control? Is that something we should consider?
Like deciding which output, and it's got a place. Personally, I mean, it definitely has a place in certain circumstances. Yes, that's more of a feature that I would do in. I mean, I've used it in Bitcoin quite a bit in scenarios where I wanted to enable blockchain surveillance, which is very interesting. So you want an example being, let's say you take Bitcoin from one exchange and you move it to another exchange. You want to go, say, from fiat to Monero, Monero to fiat, and you want to do this, use Bitcoin as a transitional coin. And then what you do is you only use one output in the Bitcoin blockchain, and you don't let it touch anything else that's in the Bitcoin wallet. And the idea is that output then becomes totally separate from the rest of the wallet. So you have this sort of channel from exchange to exchange that doesn't touch the rest of your wallet. Now, the advantage there is that if someone does blockchain surveillance on it, all they know is that funds were moved from exchange A to exchange B. And I'm talking Bitcoin in this example. They don't know what else was in the wallet. There's no link to the rest of the wallet. And that's why coin control can be very valuable. In Monero, well, yeah, I mean, it's an additional privacy feature, but if you really wanted to be totally paranoid about it. And I can see certain situations where you might want to do something like that. They'd be very edge cases.
Yeah, we have it for Bitcoin, and it's something we kick around the idea once in a while. Maybe we should add it for Monero as well.
It's not going to hurt. It just gives the user an option, an additional option. In Bitcoin, in my opinion, it is incredibly useful.
Justin, you want to give your thoughts on coin control?
I mean, we live in a reality where it can be useful for Monero. The hard part is making sure people who don't know what they're doing don't screw things up unintentionally, because you definitely can do that. So I think it's something that we're very interested in, and we have mock-ups. I've shared those with you, Vic, of how we would potentially address those challenges. So it's sort of an open problem that we're open to addressing on both the Monero.com wallet and the Cake wallet.
And obviously, it seems like we need to get to a place, though, where the user is just using the wallet and not taking extra steps.
Well, to be clear, this will never be like a required feature. Like with Bitcoin, it's buried. You can click on the coin control button and change stuff. We just use the same with Monero for at least that base level functionality.
Mm-hmm. No, I'm just saying in general, though, right? So we're talking about these potential solutions for the purposes of overcoming the.
Oh yeah, this is the problem that we wish we never had. We wish that this isn't even something you would ever need to think about.
Yeah. How about an update on Seraphis itself? Do we have any timeline there? Is when that will most likely get implemented?
The changes are so large. Like, it's really nice to see such insane ideas being thrown around, because you need people to experiment with crazy stuff in order to innovate. But it's just, the number of changes are very difficult to wrap your head around. The changes that are being suggested for addressing alone are, an entire conference just on addressing for Monero, for example. And that repeats itself for how we have the selection of decoys, and that repeats itself for all these other discussions on Seraphis. So it's there's a lot to unpack.
Well, there's a couple of things that I think we're sort of conflating here. I mean, if we're talking about selection of how we go about selecting decoys, it's not specifically a Seraphis issue, although I think it will come together with Seraphis because of the number of decoys that will be used in Seraphis. Will be probably around 64 or something like that, minimum. If I was going to wild guess a time frame, I would say somewhere in the neighborhood of middle of 2023. We went towards the end of 2023. We might see something on this. That's
Okay.
I mean, I'm just guessing here, but just giving the rate at which things are coming together for something like this. I mean, you have to develop it. You have to then audit it. Then there has to be consensus on a host of issues, such as what particular implementation has been considered, with view keys, for example, and all of that. And of course, the whole addressing thing that Justin's referred to. So when you look at all of this, yeah, I if I was going to take a guess, I would say middle of 2023 towards the end of 2023.
Okay. All right, guys. Anything else you guys want to talk about while we're up here? Otherwise, we'll close it out for the week. Anybody got anything else?
I guess not.
All right.
North American Bitcoin will be there.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh,
We
yep.
talked
Yep.
about it earlier.
We
in the
talked about it
show.
earlier. Yeah,
We're
we'll
really,
be there.
really excited.
Very excited.
Yeah, we'll be passing out vouchers so you can get some free Monero or Bitcoin in your Cake wallet or Monero.com wallet.
Ooh. We have options now.
Like we did like we did in Miami last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, very
Yeah,
excited
we're ready.
for that.
We're ready.
We're ready.
Hand
Yeah.
them out.
Ready for that heat too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Really looking forward to that here.
All
right,
right. Yeah.
guys.
Thank you so much, Tim. Thanks for coming on. And yeah, Tim, you want to just mention your website again so people can go check it out?
Yeah, it's PrivacyProShop.com.
Okay, and that's where people can purchase de-Googled phones. Thanks so much, Tim.
Thank you.
Vic and Justin, obviously, thank you so much. Huge news. Excited to go download the Monero only app at Monero.com. Awesome. Thank you. ArticMine, thanks, man. Thanks for taking the time, jumping on. You're always a wealth of wisdom. Greatly appreciate your time.
All righty.
All right.
I guess with that, let's.
Oh, we
close.
should say one last time, Monerotopia. We decided just now today we're going to raise the prices in a week. So this is your last chance to get the early bird tickets, and so jump on it in a week or the next 20 tickets sold, whichever comes first. And ArticMine will be speaking at the conference, by the way.
Yes.
All right,
We're
guys.
excited. Thank you guys for joining us. And yeah, go to Monerotopia.com. Don't forget to also purchase Gratuitous coffee. It's delicious. It's a new roasted bash. So it's really delicious. And yeah, don't forget to like the show and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. So yeah, thank you guys. See
Ciao.
you next week. Bye. Oh, you see you in Miami. Woohoo! Can't wait. Bye, guys.
So long.